And welcome into another edition of A Closer Look. I am your host, Dwayne Nelson, and with me today are Stacy Seaton, the parent trainer with Trace's Foster Care and Adoption Services, a division of Frontier Health, and Danielle Osborne, a foster parent. We're glad to have you here on A Closer Look today.
Thanks for having us.
One thing that we would like to start off saying is people who foster children, I think, my hat is off to them because I think they provide such a service that is just commendable in all fashion.
Absolutely.
And tell me a little bit about how this program started, maybe how long it's been going on.
Yeah, so Trace's has been around for over 25 years.
Wow.
We are a therapeutic foster care program, and the way that therapeutic foster care started was they were seeing a gap between just regular foster care and a residential setting. Some of the kids need a place that's kind of in the middle that has that therapeutic mindset, but they're still able to function within the community and lead a normal life within their community, but they have a more structured home that's able to provide for their therapeutic needs.
Is it still really tough to find these homes, or are people opening up their homes more?
Sometimes it's kind of hard, and then sometimes it is not. But one thing I can say is the people that do, such as Danielle, have such a sense of what these kids need, and they're really able to kind of lay down their own lives and focus on the kids. And that's an incredible thing, and I think that it's a specific and very special calling for our parents. Absolutely.
Now, how do you, I guess, get referrals for foster parents? How do you go about that?
Well, we do a lot of community events to be able to bring parents in or bring awareness, and then I guess the parents just decide, I'm going to call or I'm going to look online. We have an online inquiry that they can now do on tracesne.org. So they can look at the program, they can kind of see what we do day in and day out, and then do the online inquiry. But a lot of times people will call me as well just to ask questions and curiosity. But one thing I will say is that with foster parents, they're able to tell the community what they're doing as well. And Danielle's done that a lot for us.
Now, how long have you been a foster parent?
We've been fostering for 2 years.
Wow. So what got you interested in that?
Well, our situation was a little unique. We knew of a little girl that needed a home. We knew her foster family. So we actually found out about the agency through that family and did the foster classes to have her move into our home.
So that in itself, that brought, I guess, an awareness to you that this is a program you wanted to be a part of.
Absolutely. And then after our daughter was placed, we continue to foster even now, just to keep helping kids in our community.
How tough is it bringing in a child into the family and into the household? Maybe that, they're not used to you, you're not used to them.
Yeah, it's tough. It can be different. You just have to have no expectations, and because you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know how it's going to go, but you just try to be loving and set the expectations and kind of let them know what you expect of what's going to happen in your home. And most of the time they don't mind that. They actually want that. They don't have that. And so it usually goes pretty well, but you just have to just have an open mind and just be open to what their needs are.
Now, do you pick a certain age group that you're looking to foster, or is it pretty much this is what we have available and that's what you get?
You can kind of set your limits and say I would prefer a child this age or this age, but mainly our family does respite right now because we have 2 girls. So they'll call me and say, hey, we have a teenage girl that needs somewhere to go for the weekend. Her foster family is going to be out of town, and if we're available, then we'll have them come over. So you can have your limits, but it's also good to be open-minded because teenagers need love just like a younger child would and deserve a home too.
Is it tougher to control teens opposed to a younger child?
Not necessarily. Usually teenagers don't have tantrums, and that's kind of nice.
Right.
They come with their own issues, but there's challenges with both, and there's good with both, so it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, there's just the pros and the cons on
Absolutely.
all ends there. What need is there for foster parents, Stacy?
There's a really large need, especially for the teenagers that we were just talking about. You know, they do need a lot of love, and they also need structure, but they need someone to come alongside of them and show them that they are loved and valued. And so, you know, that's a huge need in our community, are parents that are able to care for teenagers. But of course, we always need parents for the little young children as well. That's an important need in our community. But I would say that it's a pretty high need at this time.
Now, do people that would like to bring in a child, do they have to be financially secure in order to do that?
They do need to provide proof of income. So you can't really make a living on taking care of the kids. In fact, you're going to spend money out of your own pocket doing
Right.
that. But you don't have to have tons of money in the bank or anything like that.
What are the characteristics that make up a foster parent?
Do you want to speak to that?
We both can. You can add, but you really have to be graceful to these children. They're going to come in and have all these behaviors that just are not acceptable, and you just have to be open-minded and loving, and just choose to love them through what they're going through. You really have to be patient and flexible, because your schedule is going to be totally different. Your family routine is going to be very different. So you just kind of have to go with the flow.
Right, and then I guess depending on the child will determine what all you have to kind of put the effort into
Absolutely.
to the training part. As a foster parent, can a person then adopt that child, or there is that chance that the child will leave the foster parent at some point? Is there the possibility of keeping that child and being able to adopt it for your own?
Yes, there is. So of course, like you said, the primary goal is to get them back to their biological family, if that's safe and possible. Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it doesn't work out, even though we're putting forth a lot of effort for that to happen. So if that doesn't, and the child's been in that foster home, that's always the primary goal for them, is to find permanency. And a lot of times their foster home is the one that chooses to give them that. And what a great day that is when that happens.
Oh, absolutely. What would your advice be, Danielle, for anyone thinking about becoming a foster parent? What would be your advice to them?
I would say to pray about it, think really long and hard about it, and think about how it's going to impact every aspect of your life, whether it be how it's going to impact your relationship with your children and your spouse. It'll take a toll on your life, but just know that it's very rewarding, and know that you're not always going to have all the support from all of your family and friends, but there's a great community out there within the foster care agency that are here to help you and want you to succeed and want the child to succeed. So it's not for everybody, but if you have a suspicion that is for you, I would advise you to contact Stacy and just learn more about it. It's a great process, and this is a great agency to work with.
Do you have to go through some approval and training in order to be a foster parent? Obviously, you just don't hand off a child to somebody that walks up and says, I want to be a foster parent.
Right. No, there is an approval process. I try to make it as painless as possible and as fun as possible, because you are really learning a lot of valuable life skills, not only for the foster kids, but for yourself. I've found that even as a teacher of this training, I've learned a lot about myself through it. But you've got to go through the approval process, the background checks, and then the prerequisite training that we do, the initial training, which I believe is really important for the parents to go through. And I feel like the parents that go through it feel very supported. They also feel very connected to the material, but then also to the staff, because most of our staff are trained to train. So they are getting to meet all of our staff members before they're even a part of the program.
So it just takes some time to get to the point where you receive a child and start mentoring that child.
It does, yes.
And how long have you been involved in the program here with Frontier Health?
I've been with the program for 3.5 years. So at first I was a case manager with the kids, and I missed them dearly. That was a wonderful experience. And then I began recruiting and training our foster parents, which is also a really amazing and rewarding experience.
Now, a lot of folks that may not know, a foster child, the definition of a foster child in your words would be?
A foster child is typically abused or neglected, but I also think that they feel very devalued and unloved a lot of times. They don't know where they fit in the world. And so I think a lot of times they're searching for that. And our foster families are people that are able to provide that for our kids. But they're also just so sweet and looking for that love. So a lot of times they're very loving towards you. But I think Danielle could really speak a lot to, you know, what her experience has been as far as what a foster child is.
They're all different. They all just want to be loved and feel valued and just know that someone is there for them, and they deserve that. We have had teens that come and they know that they can contact us, and they'll message me here and there and say, you know, hope you're doing well, we miss you
Right.
guys. And if I don't hear from them for a while, I'll contact them and say, just want you to know I'm thinking about you, just want you to know I'm here and I support you. And so they all just need love.
Well, the greatest thing is you can stay in contact with the children even if they're placed back into their to where they were before. And I guess your job's done once that's been taken care of and you've mentored that child. And I hats off to you, because it's a great thing that you all do, both at Traces and what you do, Danielle, as well. I'll be back with more Closer Look right after this.